Awesome. We're back here from our in-closed session today. We have a few motions to make from that in-closed session. Agenda item 5.1, we have Reeve Hall would like to make the motion to appoint, and I'm going to try and say this correctly, Andrea Carlian for a 2-year term ending December 31st, 2027 as a member at large on the Agricultural Services Board, and to appoint Penny Miller for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2028 as a member at large on the Agricultural Services Board. So without, if there's any further discussion, all right, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? We have 8 and 0, thank you. Deputy Reeve Minns would like to appoint Wendy McLean for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2028 as a member at large on the Family and Community Support Services Board. If there's no further discussion there, all those in favor?
Aye.
And are there any opposed? Thank you, 9 and 0. And the third item from this 5.1 was Councillor Chisholm would like to make the motion for administration to provide advice regarding the upcoming policy for appointing members at large at an upcoming committee of the whole meeting. Alrighty, if we're ready for the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
And I have no opposed. I don't see any opposed. Awesome. 9 and 0. 5.1 is complete. 5.2. We have Councillor Chamzik would like to appoint Councillor Stasiak to the Blue Heron Vocational Training Center Board, and further to direct administration to request a delegation from the Blue Heron Vocational Training Center Board. You're okay? Okay. If we're ready for the vote, all those in favor?
Aye.
Do we have any opposed? None. 9 and 0, thank you. Item 5.3, we have Councillor Callahoo would like to make the motion that Athabasca County Council decline the offer from Aspen View Public Schools as outlined in the September 25th, 2025 letter, and further for council to rescind motion CC 25-579.
Can I get a recorded vote, please?
Yes, you can hear the recorded vote, absolutely. So I'll just ask that everyone hold their hands up a little higher and until I get everybody's names. If we're ready for the vote, all those in favor? We have Councillor Dow, Chamzik, Reeve Hall, Holland, Deputy Reeve Minns, Councillor Callahoo, Councillor Hall. Any opposed?
Nay.
Councillor Kapitaniak and Councillor Stasiak. Passes 7-2. Thank you. And our last item for motions coming out of close was 5.4. And this motion is from Councillor Callahoo, who would like to move that council authorize the amended agreement as discussed in closed. If we have no further discussion and are ready for the vote, all those in favor?
Aye.
And are there any opposed? 9 and 0. Thank you very much. Alrighty. We are now moving right along to our 8.1 item on our agenda, which is on page 14 of your agenda package. That is for tax recovery. We have Mr. Director Daly here. Would you like to go ahead and speak on the report?
Thank you, Reeve Allen. Basically, we held a tax auction on November 28th. There was no bids, so basically I'm bringing this RFD forward for the recommended motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any questions, any discussion amongst council? Go ahead, please, Councillor Hall.
I'd be first of all be prepared to move the recommended motion, but then the two questions are after the tax forfeiture is registered, what's the next step?
Thank you, Councillor all through the read. Next step after that, after the tax forfeiture, county basically would take over the land, but I think there's like a waiting period before it's like clear title, but basically the land defaults to the county. The 2 pieces of property that's listed there.
Okay. May I ask, if we, because there's, as mentioned here, there were, there's item number one, item number two. So with the tax forfeiture title, can we move right into two for clear title? No,
You don't want to.
we can't
Um,
move into that.
So then the second question is, how are the reserve bids determined?
Through the Reeve, Councillor Hall, the reserve bids were determined by our assessor.
So then in follow-up, one of the things we learned in the past was that sometimes it's a good idea to get a third party to come in and figure out an independent market valuation and offer these for sale on the market again. I've looked at the assessment on these properties and certainly on one of them, it's got a land value that my suspicion is that land value assumes that the land is vacant, which of course it's not. But there's there's the potential for detrimental impact from remnants of a structure there. So it would seem reasonable to figure out what they actually are worth in the market and try to sell them again once we've got the tax forfeiture registered, very much like we did in Rochester.
Madam Chair, happy to comment on that. You're probably thinking of the one with the pink house on it. I think it's pink. As previous councillors will know, in the last year, we demoed a couple of properties in the county very successfully, cleaned them up, and we'll be coming back to council to establish some prices to go to market. It's really a good idea if we've got unsightly properties that you take as tax forfeiture. If it really doesn't then devalue the property at all, it might actually help the value of the property. Sometimes it's best for us to clean them up. So we'll probably bring that back as a discussion item for council.
Okay, does anybody else have anything here? I guess I was just confused because it mentions in option two, after the municipality has acquired tax forfeiture title, the municipality can acquire the property by depositing an amount equal to the reserve, et cetera, et cetera. So that's why I was kind of wondering, would we move into that area? So that's where my confusion came in.
Different things. Okay, we can take a title as under number one, tax forfeiture. If we sell it, we're required to send, after all our expenses are paid, the taxes, everything else, we're required to offer any excess funds back to the owner. So if we decided to take clear title, we don't have to do that, but we've got to clear it up with that owner right now.
Okay, I understand.
That's the difference.
Thank you.
So we're better off in category one.
Absolutely. Okay, for sure. Understood now. Thank you for clarifying that for me. Does anybody else have anything further? Are we ready for the motion that Councillor Hall would like to register a tax forfeiture title for tax rolls 424-314049 and 425-163210? We're ready for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? 9-0. Thank you very much. 8.2, Economic Development Elected Officials course on page 16 of your package. Here is the recommendation to book the Economic Development for Elected Officials course on March 11, 2026, and invite the Village of Boyle and the Town of Athabasca councillors to participate and share the associated costs. Is there any discussion here, Councillor Hall?
I'm happy to move the recommended motion, but wondered if admin would be willing, before I do that, to provide advice on the wisdom of including basically every municipality that we touch, summer villages, Thorhill, Black Labish, Westlock. If we're hosting a seminar like this, we might as well invite them to at a fee for service, send their people up. Or maybe you have an opinion that that's not the answer.
So the course that we would offer maxes out at 30 individuals. And so that potentially would limit how many municipalities we could invite.
So then I would be happy with the recommended motion, but maybe add the summer villages in, well, never mind. No, we'll leave them out. They can, just as written.
Okay. All right. Is there any further comment, questions? All right. Please go ahead, Councillor Johnson.
I'm pretty sure our last term, this is also the course that was offered, and I just want to say I'm all for training and I found it very beneficial.
Awesome, thank you. Councillor Dellick.
I don't know, this is probably on the same topic, but, I've still got to take my mandatory course. And it's available in Boyle on December 19th.
We are all registered for that.
We all,
We all are.
what didn't we do in, one in Edmonton?
Oh, that's different. That's a different orientation. This is emergency management on
Oh.
the 19th, yeah.
Well, this is elected officials.
Yes, it's emergency management for elected officials course, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other one was orientation and Muni 101. Gotcha?
Got you.
Gotcha. All right. So if there's no further comments, questions, all right. The motion that Councillor Hall would like to put forward is to book the Economic Development for Elected Officials course on March 11th, 2026, and invite the Village of Boyle and the Town of Athabasca councillors to participate and share the associated costs. And if we're ready for the motion, or the vote, pardon me, all those in favor?
Aye.
And are there any opposed? All right, awesome, 9-0, thank you. 8.3, which is the minimum tax, report page 19, item 8.3 on your agenda, page 19. This is gonna be pretty quiet, so I'll put this one forward. This has come from, you put this on, okay, if you'd like to start, go for it.
So I added this because it might have come up someone else too, but specifically because I think there are financial implications here that we don't yet have advice from the administration on. And so we don't know the cost of the proposal. And so I was going to propose to council that we table this type of item until after we've had a budget discussion, because we don't know the budget implications. And so I'd like to propose we table it until after budget talks.
Okay, and tabling motions are not debatable. So we can go forward with that particular tabling motion at this time. If everybody's ready for the vote, all those in favor?
Aye.
There's 3 and opposed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 and 3. So that tabling motion fails. I could put forward a thought for council to consider. As you mentioned, we do not know the budgetary implications, and that would be something I understand would be not too difficult to obtain. And maybe instead of going forward with making a decision on this today, that we bring that request for that information from administration to see what the budgetary implications would be.
That seems like what we just voted against.
Well, that's, you wanted to table it till after budget, but if we're asking for information to come forward, I would think that would be a different motion altogether to request for information. I'm more than happy to have this conversation and lower the minimum tax rate as when we look at, I'll just go through, when we look at our different situations that we're looking at from previous information that we have, 10,913 tax rolls, about 2,165 of those were subject to the minimum tax, generating revenue of 108,000, mostly coming, like I mentioned in the report, from vacant or leased farmland. There's been such a change. That was in the 2024 assessment. There's been changes in the 2023 assessment, 2024 year. 2024 assessment has changed dramatically. So we really don't know. I'm guessing that 2,000 impact would be smaller, but that's only a guess. So I know this came forward since this has been put through, since we've added minimum tax, it has not been appreciated by several residents. I hear about it on a regular, especially with regards to Crown land leases. I heard it all through September, October, going and talking with residents and having this conversation. I'm pretty sure administration gets it in the ear on a regular as well. Being that we're only dealing with 108,000 on the 2,000, just over 2,000 rolls. I really don't think it's going to be a huge implication. And I really think that we would be able to handle that particular financial setback. So it's really up to council how, what your opinions are, and I'd really like to hear them. Please, Councillor Stacey.
I agree with you. I'm one of the people that are caught in that trap, and I have full faith in our assessors to assess the actual value of it, or the new assessed value of it. I think the financial part of it is going to balance itself out by those that have increased. We have cases where the general assessment went up more than substantially, noticeably substantially, and those people are not getting a whole lot of relief. So I think the extra assessment that we get there offsets the little bit that we're forfeiting here. So I'm in full support of changing that from the changing the minimum tax.
Thank you. Councillor Chamzik.
I think we have to definitely look at it, but I'm sorry, would you repeat your motion, please?
Well, this one, I don't really have a motion
Oh,
before.
okay.
It was just a conversation to hear what people would like. The recommendation on the report is to lower the minimum tax from $100 to $30, starting in 2026. So that would be the recommendation. Councillor, did you want to, Deputy Reed-Mintz?
Yeah, I'd rather, before that motion came forward, I would rather get some information regarding how many properties, how many tax rolls have changed since we changed our assessment, ways of doing our assessments to market residential or whatever it was. A lot of people's taxes went up a great deal. And when it was reassessed from farmland to non-residential. So
Vacant residential?
yeah, vacant residential, there we are. So I'm really looking forward for that information to come forward and see there to drop it to $30. Well, that's a huge discussion, and I don't know if I could get behind 30, but I could maybe get behind something. And 30 though.
Councillor Stacey?
Thank you. I personally, I see it more as a fairness issue as opposed to a financial issue. I don't, like I said before, I trust our assessors to make a decision on its actual value as opposed to an opinion of what somebody should or shouldn't pay.
Thank you. Councillor Hall?
I'm gonna offer a counter view to the comment we just heard. It is not, like, fairness is fair, is fine, but the properties that are impacted by this are not assessed at their actual value. They're assessed at a regulated rate, so it has nothing to do with their actual value. And what you're seeing is properties that can be worth, in some cases, a couple of $100,000, paying, virtually no tax. And so if we do want to talk fairness, we probably should be, like, there's no mechanical way to do this, but I mean, some of those properties should be paying significantly more. So it impacts regulated rate properties. And while I am open to the idea of having a discussion about what's the right number and is it, how does it work? I think we have to be careful about how we handle things like this. Some of the comments I've heard, we have to look at the tax and say, what are you actually paying in tax dollars versus to how many dollars worth of land do you control? So on a microscopic level, micro level, there's going to be there's a handful of properties where there's adverse influence. We all know that. But on balance, on the majority of parcels, this is, the impact is not terrible. It actually brings them up to a number that is not unreasonable. So whatever the number we choose as a group, I think what I would really urge council to do first is, before we take on, a recommendation or do something, that we should defer it out until we've had a conversation with administration and got better information. It's one of the things I think, I learned last time, and in the past, there were mistakes made around council identifying an idea or a councillor or a couple councillors identifying what they perceive as a problem, and then coming to the table with a solution without taking the time to actually go back to admin and say, can you give us the other background? Can you give us the other side of the story? Can you give us the full picture? And that's what we pay these guys to do. We should, before we make a significant change, we should at least get their view on it and talk about how many parcels and what are the dollar impacts and all the things that have been mentioned. by our colleagues. So I think, I can't remember what your proposal was. I think to defer it out until after we've had, admin has had a chance to provide some information. I think that's the sound decision. And then we can talk about the philosophy of minimum tax in general and where the right amount is. Some municipalities, it's 500, some it's 250, some it's 300, some it's probably 25. It's really all over the map and so I think, I don't think we have enough information right here to make a decision on this today. We don't know the impacts and we probably could benefit from hearing admin's perspective before we just prescribe a change, in my view. So I would be happy with
To direct administration.
what you've proposed, yeah.
Okay. Is there any further? So a motion that we can derive from this would be to direct administration to provide further information regarding the impacts of lowering the minimum tax from $100 to $30 with regards to how many rolls are we currently are dealing with? Is that? We'll negotiate that once we get more information. I think, but would that be fair to direct administration to provide further information regarding the impacts of lowering the minimum tax rate from $100 to $30, with regards to how many rolls that this impacts?
Yeah.
Yeah? Does that work? Okay. Cause yeah, I've placed quite a bit of background as well in the agenda that gives some more information on some of those impacts that we're seeing. And as Councillor Hall had mentioned, maybe one property might not be a big deal, but when you're grouping several leases together in one and they're all different sizes and they're not they're running into some troubles there. And I'm seeing a lot of that. That's been one of the biggest complaints is when you're dealing with several leases all at once. And they're of course handled differently when it's a crown land than it is if it's private land. So anyway, Leah, did you get that very poorly spit out motion?
To direct administration to provide further information regarding the impacts of lowering the minimum tax rate from $100 to $30.
Thank you very much. Is that fair for everyone? All right, we're ready for the motion. All those in favor? Don't hear Councillor Kapitanic. Are you there?
Well, I'm waiting till opposed.
Oh, okay, thank you. I just didn't see you. And any of,
I
I think
don't have
that's
to do
8, 4 and opposed.
Nay.
So that's 8 and 1. Did I get that right? Okay, 8 and 1. Thank you very much. All right. Item up again, 8.4. This is on page 27 of your agenda package, and this is with regards to the dreaded, I know, conversation of snow plowing. Residential snow plowing in our county. I know there is the recommendation here is to look at this, of course, as a change to happen immediately. I totally understand that that's really not super realistic. It's of course what our residents that have brought this forward as being a real craw on their side for the $200 flat rate. They of course would like to see that change. Now, I of course would completely understand that that would be something if council agrees to look into this further, that it would be probably more beneficial to look at it for the next season, to put it in play into the next season. But as you can see here, the recommendation on this particular report is for the snow plowing rate for senior and I guess it should be better off described as physically disabled residents from $200 per year to the first 6 snow plows free with a fee of $25 snow plow thereafter. And again, probably starting in the following season. And further that seniors and physically disabled are to alert administration of the need for a snow plowing service by contacting administration via phone or email. And of course, we all know that would follow the policy the same, that driveways have to wait, of course, until the roads are complete, and further invoicing to seniors and disabled residents for chargeable snow plowing services taking place monthly. Councillor Hall.
How would you feel about tabling something like we're into the season as was mentioned. What about the idea of tabling this to a strategic planning discussion? This is a fairly significant, policy change, and, we've, I mean, at the risk of repeating, comments from a minute or two ago, we've not heard from administration on the number of, the implications of the proposal. And I think we need to separate the idea into, what's the problem and what's the solution? And in the package, we've got kind of both, right? We've got identified what one or more people think is a problem and one particular solution, but that's not the only solution. So I wonder if it would be better to, given the idea that it's, late in the season, as you've mentioned, to kick it out to strategic planning, where council can have an actual discussion about what we expect out of the program and who it impacts and how it affects us financially, and then make decisions there that then can be in place for the next season. And historically, what we had done was we didn't fiddle with the programs right like the moment before they were in gear. We did it immediately after the season so we could do a debrief. And so I'm wondering if it would be, palatable to table it into that kind of a discussion so we can talk about, who do we want it to impact and how do we want it to impact them, and get some feedback from administration at the same time so we can make a sound decision with kind of that balance.
Yeah. I totally wholeheartedly agree that we do need to have further conversation. I mean, that's what bringing these forward are for, is to be able to have that dialogue. I don't know about strategic planning or level of service. When we
Well, either one of those.
Either one of those. Yeah, I think level of service might be the better place to have that conversation. But again, it's, these are requests that have been brought forward from ratepayers. So that's why it is here, and to prepare for the next season. I think it's really important that we have this conversation so that, it does impact our 2026 budget for the first couple of months of the next season, if this is something council wishes to go forward. So it's something we definitely need to consider and look at. As far as I'm concerned, is we need to answer to our ratepayers, and our ratepayers have made it very well known. And I'll just mention, as we've seen back-to-back snowfalls here, our operators are not able to keep up with the driveways right now. And so having to provide contractor information to residents, it really comes back in my ear saying, we just paid $200 flat rate, and now I'm having to fork out that fund for a contractor. So they would prefer, if anything, a different format rather than the full 200 flat rate. That was the biggest complaint. Councillor Chamzak.
Yeah, I was gonna actually suggest Cal, but I do like the idea of level of service, because I was thinking March, becoming the near that you'd have more accurate data that you'd be able to pull from. But I do like the idea. Were we able to establish a level of service time frame where we could have that discussion?
For the level of service review, we think council would probably have to ask administration what their schedule looks like to be able to bring forward a level of service discussion. I mean, we've been talking about it for some time, but.
Well, we've got 166 services. Which ones do you want to review?
Well, I think we were talking about a whole review of all of our level of services.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I understood it to be when we identified how many there were, that we would be having that conversation.
Generally, when you have 166, you have to prioritize which are the ones that are most important and which ones are fine.
Okay, so you're asking for council then maybe to sit in a committee of the whole meeting to determine what that looks like, or a strategic planning meeting, a workshop of some
Sorry,
sort.
call it strategic planning or call it a workshop. Like maybe that is the time frame in there. Like if you're doing planning about what's the most important, maybe that's part of the what services are critical that we want to deliver and how do we budget for them. And like I see that as being those things being kind of like level of services, strategic plan. What are we going to plan to do well? What are we going to, maybe of the 160, maybe we only need to do 155. I just think it's important I feel like that kind of discussion would be really would be beneficial for council when you're doing that strategic planning. The more roundtable conversational, what's the problem? How do we solve it? Bring the experts in the room, some of whom are sitting in the and talk about what are what's the problem and what's the solution?
Right.
And so for me, I'd be happy to add an extra half a day to that thing if that made sense. But I think it's part of the same discussion, although I would obviously defer to people who've been around the industry longer.
No, and I appreciate that. I personally think that, in having that, this comment about level of service and doing a workshop is extremely important. And we do that before we even hit strategic planning, so that we're more prepared I would think it's going to take a day at least to go through a workshop on 160 some odd services. I'm thinking would be, but I could be wrong. Councillor Chamzik.
Just throwing it out there. I said March, but not thinking about RMA, but April, if perhaps we could always forever, the issue is aligning people's calendars to find time for these workshops, planning sessions, whatever. Perhaps the cow date in April could be utilized for that conversation.
Right, but if we do our strategic planning ahead of time, we're kind of, you know, we need to kind of get that done, I think, before strategic planning is, and so I'm thinking, you know, if we look at something in January or February, might be the better way. Just my personal opinion, but Councillor Stacey.
When I seen your proposal here before, I was quite excited, actually thinking that this was going to move forward today. I didn't anticipate that we were going to put it off again. However, I have two situations going on presently as we speak. One lady was in tears when she called me. She's crippled. She's lost her husband. She said, I cannot afford $200. And I said, well, interestingly enough, we're going to be discussing it soon. I don't know what to tell her. She doesn't have $200 to hire a private contractor. She's in a bind out there. I seen the grader go by yesterday actually and passed her place. And I thought, oh, if there was only a way that I could go and tell the grader to please go and help this woman out. She's in a bind. But that's another story, and I know the protocol. The other situation is, and I'd like to see if we can come up with a plan that we can leave some discretion to the grader operators to go in. One guy just called me as I was walking in the door, and he lives in a remote area in my division. He's about 2 miles off of, he's in the grid, but he's 2 miles off of the main drag. The grader came in this morning, went down the road, didn't do his driveway. He had already paid his $200, and I appreciate the policy that roads are first, driveways second. But when he's there, it's another 5 minutes. Finish that off. He doesn't have to go back to that end of the county. And so, is there a way that we can make that adjustment or whatever, so that leaving it to the discretion of the grader operator, so he knows what is economically feasible? If he has to go back in 5 days just to do that driveway when he was there already, is there any room for a discussion there?
If I may, and then Deputy Reed Mins, I'm sure will correct me if I'm wrong, but we went into this exact same type of thing. We had this conversation last season, and I believe, or was the season before, and 2 seasons ago. And I believe that we had, as a council at that time, allowed for leave of the policy for infrastructure to make that determination if they're hitting it, like exactly as you mentioned. It costs a lot more to bring that travel back rather than deal with it, those particular one-offs, dead ends, those particular out of the way spaces. And I don't know if that's still something that this particular administration is doing.
I mean, just on the same subject, I feel like somebody might be ahead of me in the queue, but it's about that motion is really around managing to the result and saying, you know, be smart about how we deploy resources. And I think my memory is the same, that council gave administration the decision to say, manage to the result and use some common sense. If you're down at the end of a 2 mile space, or if you're gonna deadhead it or high blade it down 661 to connect, you know, whatever that is down there, let's manage to the end result, not to the microscopic, you know, left foot, right foot, things in front of each other. And I think, you know, the first comment from my colleague here about someone not being able to afford this, I think that's an idea you should carry forward into the budget discussions, because, you know, solving problems of people in need might be something we need to do through FCSS or through providing a fund to do it. Because, you know, need is not determined by your year of birth. There might be other, you know, I'm trying to say, is we may got to get into what problem we're trying to solve and what are the solutions to do it, and maybe there's another solution that's.
So should I recommend that she go to, sorry, should I recommend to her that she contacts FCSS, or
Well, I
what
think-
response should I give her?
When we get to budget, we should talk about whether we have funds to provide this, or, I don't know, hopefully our neighbor does it.
Before I turn the table back over to Deputy Reeve Menz, I'll just mention Snow Angel program. Please go ahead.
I guess the biggest thing is, we go through this whenever we have these big snowfall events. We go through the same thing as when we have big rainfall events, everything like that. It's, I need the grader, I need it now. And, what ends up happening is to be able to go into that driveway on a normal snow event, great. It makes sense. You don't have to go back. But I'll guarantee you that operator has to go back there. And he's not gonna be deadheading all the way back. They're out there, they're removing snow very fast right now. They're trying to get around to everything that they can, because we've had 3 snowfalls in the last 3 or 4 nights. And so there's people out there that have we have roads out there that have all these snowfalls on. And when they're knocking the snow off, it's not coming off as good as what it should be. So they're gonna be going back and they're gonna be cleaning up. So they're gonna be heading her back there. If it's a normal snowfall event, grader will come through, he'll wing everything off and everything. That makes sense. Catch the driveway then, because he's probably not gonna come back. But right now, they're coming back. Trust me, they will be back there. And everybody's common sense is different. All depends on what's been told to them by their leaders also. It's right now, the main process is to get the snow off the roads. Driveways are second. And I'd hate to start deviating off of that right now. It'd be it's a wish-wash. You can never be at the right place at the right time when you have snowfall events the way we have now. So the operators are doing, I'm hearing they're doing a great job out there, and thank God we got them. So.
There
that's
we
my
go.
Point of view.
All right. So does anybody else have anything to add other than, I think the appetite here is to defer this item until after a level of service review workshop?
I would be happy to move something like that if you massage the language.
Okay. So is that satisfactory for everyone? And if we can set it up in sometime mid-February for a level of service review workshop?
Could we just say as soon as admin can? I'm more conscious that I don't understand all the things on their plate. They'll set it up.
CAO, how are you feeling about us working through a workshop?
You guys should pass a motion and we'll adjust.
But what is your schedule like now? Because we don't want to create further.
It's
hardship.
full.
It's full. So,
I like the idea of having a discussion on a level of service review and all this other stuff. I really do. And it's gonna be an all-day event, as far as I care. Bale weighing is gonna take like a long time to get through that. But
I think the first step, folks, is I said we can't review 166 services. Are there maybe 6 that you would red flag out of all those 166 that are the most important for this council to review? You're not going to do 166 services. That's lunacy. But are there 5 or 6 that we could look at during this term that are most important, that are affecting people?
okay.
we have 2 that come up proverbially every year. Snow plowing and dust control. That's 2 that we discuss every year and yeah, it's a longer process. So
Right.
I don't know if we need to do it before strategic planning, or need to do it at the same time we're doing strategic planning, or 2-day event strategic planning. That would be.
Adding that to level of service. So basically, everybody has a copy of all of the level of services that CAO Beck has already sent out to everybody via email. So it's something, I guess, as we mentioned, you know, when we look at doing strategic planning, that we have that conversation. Might work well.
I wonder, and this is a council decision, but on how we use committee of the whole. You know, would there be an appetite, instead of all the mishmash of things that get thrown in there, would there be, what if we took it and, you know, one of the really successful things we did as a council last term is we picked one day and we solved one problem. We had a meeting and I think maybe we're done by noon or something, but we had one topic. What if we laid out kind of as a group, we found a minute to just sit together and talk about, you know, the 10 call meetings that happen in the year, or call them whatever you want, governance, priorities, and say, we're gonna pick one topic per meeting. And we're gonna make that the major focus of the meeting. And because a lot of the other stuff that happens there has value, but there's probably a way to streamline it in order to really dig deep on specific items. And then we have 10 good discussions through the year. And then those meetings add value to what we're doing instead of just being kind of a information. Anyway, that was the idea that I wanted to share with my colleague, and that might be a way to, you know, to fit it in, something like this in, to have that conversation and say, you know what, at the January committee of the whole, we're gonna really dig deep on snow plowing theory or whatever you want.
All right. So if we put through a motion to keep moving forward here in our agenda to defer this item until after a level of service strat plan workshop. Does that work for everybody? Awesome. All right. Are we ready for the vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 9-0, thank you. We are moving to 8.5, the highly anticipated point of our day.
Yep.
The 2026 draft operating and capital budgets, page 45 of your package. I just want to put a quick comment out there that thank you, administration. This is a huge undertaking. The changes that you've made are huge, important, and a lot of work has gone into this. It's one of the better detailed, well-detailed proposed budgets that I've seen here in a few years. So I really appreciate the effort and the work that you've put into it. And with that, I'll turn this over to Director Daly.
Thank you, Reeve Allen. So I didn't bring a presentation today, but I basically, in the request for decision and then right at the back of the actual budget detail, in the request for decision, I highlighted the major changes and they're kind of I guess one sentence there, a reason like we needed to find some of these, one major reason why we found some of these changes. And then right at the back of the detail, there's a little bit more detail on the changes, which I didn't put in the RFD, but I put in the back. But basically, other than that, yeah, we're just bringing the budget back. Our last meeting, we said we wanted to kind of dig deeper into each department line item, et cetera. So before that happened, administration got together. We made these changes that you are seeing in this document today. And now we're here, I guess, to kind of look at every area.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think as we kind of, as a group, talked a little bit about how we wanted to get through this here, we know we're probably not going to get all through it today. And that's why we have those extra dates that we put forward on the 16th and the 18th as well. But I would really like to start each department, of course, and have a look at what counselors have to feel about it, comments, questions, concerns. We've had the budget now. This is the second go around that the new council has had. So there are, if there's any questions that the new counselors have with regards to how it's laid out, to be able to understand it, this is your time for sure to ask any questions. If there's any concerns or if anyone has any other ideas or don't like certain things, this is your time to mention that kind of thing. So if we can start on page 51 of the agenda package, which is administrative services. Who would like to begin? I think, as you know, that at the end of the, as Director Daly had mentioned, at the end on page 145, you will start seeing more of what the interim budget changes, the proposed changes are, what they highlight, and what's been updated. There's also the budget change request forms that are within the document here. So, I'm just gonna turn it over to Councilor Stasiak. What would you like to bring forward?
I just got a question of clarification on postage. And it was pointed out in 25 that it was 39,000. And somehow now it's jumped to 65,000. In the world of communication, I guess, electronic communication, that should have went backwards, or just a little bit of clarification there.
Okay, we're on page 51.
Yeah,
And postage is GL code 2216.
yeah,
And 2216 is I think mentioned here
yeah,
on page 53 for postage.
yeah.
And it mentions projected postage costs based on history, and then the communication flyer mailouts, the newsletter.
Correct. I read
That's
that.
what's increased.
I read
But
that,
I'll
but-
turn this over to,
That is correct, Reeve Allen, Councillor Stasiak. Communication newsletter was a big driver of that increase.
Okay, yeah, just for clarification, thank you.
okay? Anybody else for administrative services? Going line by line would take us all day, so what have you
Oh.
got, Councilor Dowlick?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Would you like to go line by line?
No, I just want to go to transfer to reserves.
Okay,
So
and that's,
transfer money to reserves, way down,
what page you on?
51,
Okay,
down towards the bottom. When we transfer reserves, where does that money go? And or what does it go for? Is it to transfer is it for administration services, or is it for something else?
Reeve Allen, Councillor Dwalek. Basically, this transfer to reserves that you're seeing on 2760, that's the investment interest that we earn throughout the year. We transfer directly to reserves. All of our transfers to reserves are basically show up as a surplus at the end of the year, and then this would probably just go to operating reserves, but at the end of the year, if we end up with a surplus, we would bring forth a motion recommendation where all the unrestricted surplus would go. So it's at council's discretion if they wanted to put it in a specific reserve. But generally, when we make reserves, unless it says a specific reserve, it would probably just go into general operating reserve. This particular transfer is from the investment interest that we earn throughout the year.
and there's also the additional Green Municipal and Community Initiatives, Policy 2860, which is the cap levy, if I'm not mistaken. So the cap levy is expected, and I'll be discussing that next year too, for 15,000 on this one, is what is expected from it. We have currently I believe one aggregate producer or seller that we collect from. Okay. Does anybody else have anything with regards to administrative services? Nope. Going, gone, folks. Are we okay with it? Everybody's happy here in that particular department? Alrighty. So we now will move on to page 58, which is Ag Services. Has anybody here from Ag Services that would like to weigh in here? I believe there have been some changes made here, and I'm trying to find them. I think it was in a change request form. Trying to find that one. I know that there's been the removal of big mowing program. Pardon me, but I missed one. The Ag Services. Who have we got to?
Big changes.
Thank you.
We, in the original draft, we proposed an assistant ag fieldman, and in order to save due to the tax appeal, we've had to eliminate that from our wish list. Otherwise, the budget's a little bit of reduction here and there, but I mean, the Ag Services Board budget, except for the move of the big mowing program from common services to ag, is actually just a little bit less than the previous year.
Okay, thank you. please go ahead, Counselor Dowling.
Yeah, I see the, there's a new item of 393,000 for rental equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that to do with the mowing?
That's the big mowing program, and it's being reduced in a different section of the county, and it shows up in ag.
Okay, but no reduction in services.
Nope, it's the same level of service.
Okay, and please, Counselor Hall.
So we all know how important agriculture is to the region, and I guess I'm just wondering if if there's other options in the priorities to consider versus the reduction in the assistant ag fieldman. My concern really is around, are we able to deliver the services we'd like to be delivering to the agriculture sector by doing that? Like, is there another place we can take this? And you know, this is the kind of stuff that to me can be supported by minimum tax. It can be, there's really, are we able to deliver the services we'd like to deliver without that?
In a word, no. I mean, we would like to deliver more services. From what we see, you know, a little thing, we have almost no time to look at, one thing that I know is important to one member of council, that's Councillor Stasiak, the drainage ditches. We really, with one person in administration looking after all the services, we didn't even get any maintenance done on the drainage ditches this year. So for an area that's an ag area, we're an ag area for a lot of the county, except for the wooded area.
So I'm wondering if it would be, you know, what, if council would be supportive of asking admin to give us another option so that we can choose, like, could you give us something to trade off? What else could we do instead of it? And you know, and I hopefully, you know, we find serious options, not something like we could just shut the heat off in the building. But is there something else that, so that council has the chance to weigh in on?
Madam Chair, if that was the will of council, we'd love to look at that. We're just delivering what we think we could. If that's a new level of service, we needed to find a way to balance a budget, but if council wanted us to, we would love to. We've got one person, one ag fieldman, and he's a bit of a superstar doing too much, and we think he could do a lot more with some support.
So,
Would you like to put a motion through?
well,
Or
I
do we
would propose maybe as the chair, you know, your language could be, would there be any objections to asking admin to come up with an alternative to save that and keep something, you know, sacrifice something else, and then we don't need a zillion motions and a zillion votes.
Perfect.
It's just,
So
there's no objections, and because it's this is still not a final budget, it's just a conversation.
awesome. So how is everybody feeling about, I wholeheartedly agree as well that, I think, our manager in Ag Services has been waiting a very, very long time and I think it would benefit all the way around if we manage to find different way, to keep that position going. So how is everybody feeling? Is there any objections to that particular, to asking administration to look further to keep that position?
I wholeheartedly support looking to keep that position. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Capitania. Thank you.
Question for Bob, is that you have to reiterate what you had said before about the shop and saving a certain amount of money there. Is that available to us? Or that was just a number that's just there? Not really. No, is it closed session?
I mean, we've
No, I'm just curious if we can salvage money from elsewhere that we won't be spending. That's covers closed session, maybe?
the shop is a capital project.
Okay.
And a new position is operating budget. So
Okay.
unless
fair
it
enough.
was,
Just
yeah,
my
we
thought.
have to find an alternative in the operating budget.
Okay, thank you. I just have one quick question and, you know, don't shoot the messenger, but, the big, mowing program, would that also include, and I'm not sure if that's, again, another level of service discussion, but I don't believe it's been including the municipal reserves, that are grassy areas in the municipal reserves of the residential subdivisions. Is that something that,
That's a level of service discussion because I think we've learned, I don't see it there. We've learned that we do some and we
Right.
don't do some and no rhyme or reason, Madam Chair,
Okay.
that we can find. There's no level of service policy been adopted for how often or when, if we even do our green spaces that are in the county's name.
that's awesome, thank you.
Yeah, and even some country residential subdivisions and some we don't.
Right. And
Or we do infrequently and we're just following the past practice and we can't find any policy on
Right,
it. Madam
to sort it
Chair.
out.
So that would be a great level service discussion.
Perfect. Yeah,
We
thank-
would love if that was one of the top 6 to review so we could
Perfect.
get direction.
That's awesome, because yeah, I'm hearing again, like you say, the unfairness is out in the community and people are not happy that that's not fair across the board. Did you,
Well, I'm wondering if on that note, with our mowing programs and some of our hamlets that are within, if I can also add that to the discussion when it comes to level of service. Thank you.
alrighty. So how are we feeling now about the ag services? Are we ready to move on? Is everybody satisfied here? Just double checking, giving everybody a moment. Just want to make sure, just there's a few reviewing going on, so I just want to make sure you're ready to go forward. Yeah. Alrighty. The next item, next department, we have on page 63 of your package, page 16 of the agenda, or pardon me, 63 of the agenda, 16 of the budget, draft budget airport. Does anybody have anything here? Go ahead, please, Counselor Callahan and then Counselor Gallup.
I just have a question about the training, drastically going down and never seeming to come back up in the plan at all to meet what it was in 2025 and what that's going to affect. Sorry, I should say on page 63 and it's on item 2143.
Right. And then the notes are on page 64. Yeah. So basically what the notes mention is the IAAE membership, the AAMA membership and conference. And I'm assuming there's less people going. I'm just assuming that.
Yeah, sorry, I just wasn't understanding what that like affects, what that means. If people aren't coming because it's cut or if it's cut because it's not being used. Sorry.
So basically, we've done our best to just look at historical expenses and try and shave any budget that where we were under expensed. And so that one was one of the areas that, you know, we hadn't spent the total budget, so it got slashed. If we find in the future that there's a need for that to go back up, we would let council know at that time.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Deputy Reedmans.
I guess, on page 64, 2250 contracted services, that's went up from 18,500 to 62,000. Paved runway maintenance, what's that all about?
It's for the runway, it's the, sorry, through the chair. It's the crack sealing of the runway. So you'll see that it's in this year and it'll be in every year, but it won't be as much every year. So instead of having it, I think previously it was probably in gross recovery through Public Works. It's now here on its own.
Okay, so we did crack seal last year.
Yes, perfect.
Just
Yes,
in a different.
my apologies. It's
Yeah.
just how it's shown in the budget.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Does it, go ahead, please, Councillor Hall.
So at one point in time, we talked a little bit about landing fees that we collect. Do we have the salaries included for landing fees in here? And because how do we determine, what's the process to collect $1,500 for the landing fees? Because I think the question that came up in one of the budget discussions that I don't remember the answer to is it worth it? If we're collecting $1,500 a year, what's it cost us to get that? And should we just not do it? That's question one. And question two was, are we getting market rate on the cropland? Does anybody know how like, I thought somebody had to listen to the recordings of the.
Yeah,
I think they do.
yeah, they send the recording out and it gets listened to. Now, I don't know, maybe administration can answer this. Do we have to keep track of landing, of people landing and taking off? Do we have to keep track of that for some strange reason or?
You know what? I will get a answer back to you on that. I don't know. And I do know that we have somebody monitoring the radios, what the monetary cost of that service is. I don't know right offhand, but I can find out. And as far as the leased land, my understanding is it went through the same process as the rest of our leased land, but I can verify that as well.
Okay, okay. Anybody else for the airport? Awesome. All right. We have on page 66 of your package, page 19.
Can I back us up? Sorry.
Absolutely.
On airport. And this is maybe a question to the chair for the CIO. Is this kind of operating loss normal for airports in rural municipalities? Like I will agree that it's a valuable service. It's important to have for air ambulance, but it's a $200,000 expense. How do we compare? Like, are we benchmarked to others, and is there a business case to try to do something different?
Madam Chair, it's a good question. We could probably do some research. Your questions are level of service questions. They're perfect. We've got a bit of a service that on paper, it looks like it's underperforming. And so we need to find out, are there better ways? If it was completely unmanned, we had the same discussion about our campgrounds, for example. So it's the same type of discussion. We're happy to do some research. At the end of the day, it is a loss of $200,000. We've got other cost centers that are worse losses that we'd probably want to look at first, but it should be looked at. Is there a better way, and what is it delivering to the county, to the residents? And is it meeting the needs? And maybe you review it and you go, no, this is great. Or we actually want to improve services and the loss goes up, and that's okay. That's a conscious decision you make.
Yep.
But that's a fair question. We don't know what we're trying to deliver out there either, other than, emergency fixed wing aircraft landing. And we do a great fly-in barbecue.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And it's very valuable for a small number of people.
And so the other piece that I think just, because I'm not sure who's going to be at those discussions when we get into ICF discussion, this is one of the services we need to remember that we provide for our neighbors at zero cost to them. This airport serves town and county residents at zero cost to the town of Athabasca.
Right.
So as we talk through those other discussions, because you're going to be at that table.
Absolutely.
Put this in the back of your mind.
And as you mentioned, emergency services is huge that we provide as well. And this being, one of our main locations for air medical, as well as, Highway 63, and the county is.
Other opportunities, you know, with the Jet A or whatever it is that we're working on, to have more activity there, and like, and I don't know if that's, you know, high enough priority that, you know, admin direct somebody or not, because I know we're, you know, always at the risk of saying, hey, here's a new idea, run with it. And I, you know, I think Bob's gotten more gray since he started because of when we do that.
And this morning, yeah, right.
But it's, you know, maybe there are opportunities where something else could happen, where we've got some more forestry or something else going on there where the utilization comes up, because my sense of, from, you know, the people I talk to, subsidizing things is one thing. Subsidizing things that people use is one thing. But, you know, big subsidies on stuff that nobody uses or is very limited use. So I don't know if this is a good number or a bad number, but I can tell you I'd feel way better about it if there's 50% more aircraft making landings there than there is today, or, you know, that type
Whatever
of
we
thing.
do. And there's other business models to look at as well with regards to the new things coming for drones and this kind of.
Some places use them as a racetrack.
There you go. We should put a go-kart outfit out there. Just saying. All right, we moving on from airport? Nope. you need to-
If
sorry.
I could just say on that, that it's a huge resource to have in our county, that airport. First thing is the fixed wing, being able to land for medical reasons. Secondly, actually the first one is to me, is Stars. Stars to be able to come in and fuel up there. That is, you know, you talk to anybody and that put us on the map. To be able to have Stars come in and fill up and continue on, or on their way back or whatever. It's when you talk to any people that fly, when our fuel system wasn't working, it was a pain, because they have to mark out as they're flying where they're getting fuel, where they're not. They actually took us off the map because of we didn't have we weren't guaranteed fuel. So now that we're back to guaranteed fuel, put us back on the map. Yeah, so it seems like it's, I don't know, I think it's a huge service. The town used to be with us. They got mad and left the room. So understanding, I don't understand why, but they did. And yeah, I think it's a great service to have at Athabasca Airport. Gotcha.
Awesome. Anybody else? Okay. We are moving to the cemetery, page 66 of your agenda package, 19 of your budget. It's only a few lines. Does anybody have anything to contribute here? Counselor Hall?
So don't roll your eyes. But like, this is one place we can make a sacrifice on mowing in favor of mowing in other areas. I think it's important our cemeteries look good. But also, like, I would much rather, like, budgets are about making hard choices. And I would much rather look a resident in the eye and say, you know, we cut our county cemeteries regularly. We provide some service to ones that, you know, that we don't own. But we're gonna mow the hamlets and the green spaces, and we're like, we can't be everything to all people. In the last 4 years, our cemetery mowing escalated at a crazy rate. But I'd much rather see us spend that time and energy and money on places where people who are still on this side of the grass can enjoy it.
Go ahead, Counselor Chamzik. Oh, you're gonna draw blood there on that lip.
I feel very strongly about this. I feel that I've had many residents come to me and see how much they value the service, and I am in support of keeping this service
I have to agree. I think
at its entirety.
in its entirety. We have 4 cemeteries that we look after, that this,
No, 30.
no, this cemetery, this is the cemetery budget that's just for Elscott, Boyle. No, this is all of them, the grass mowing. So
You
this
can't
is
spend
private,
70 grand
private
on
cemeteries is in this budget as well. Okay. Okay, gotcha. Cause I was gonna say it's a lot for 5 cemeteries to mow, but good enough. Sorry, please go ahead.
I'm here.
Stasiak
Yeah,
and
right here.
Dowlett, pardon me.
Uh,
I'm just looking, I'm stunned a
So,
little bit.
my understanding in Rochester, the Cemetery Society, I guess, if you will, they mow their own grass. What do we contribute out of this 15,000 or the 10,500? Because this here is for the mowing that we do, or is it something else?
Well, the cemetery grant, is out there. It's 2 years.
Right, $3,500, right?
Yeah.
I read that.
And so
But
that,
I'm just curious if, is there a possibility if we offered them cash and let them mow it as opposed to us mowing it? Does that save us any money or is that already been done?
I think that that's covered through the cemetery, grant. Is it not? Mowing is allowed through the cemetery grant?
Well, yeah, there's grant programs, but there are certain
That for enhancement.
cemeteries that, like Peaceful Pines, that's that one.
Yeah,
The nicest cemetery in the county, by the way. It's gorgeous. No, they don't get an operating grant whatsoever.
no, but I'm just saying if we are mowing that grass and putting it into our budget, would be better off to give them, say, half of what it costs us and say, here, you mow it because you've got your own mowers.
Yes, we would. That's a great idea.
We,
No, it's a great idea. If we could give a grant instead and they could leverage it, that would help us out a lot.
And just for information, at this point, it's not in this part of the budget, but that discussion was done in town itself. Instead of us sending mowers down to cut the community grass, the community themselves would love to get even half of what your costs would be, and they would mow it themselves.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's where
Just-
we'd have to get it
That's in a different part of the budget. I understand
different
that.
part of discussion.
Correct.
And it has to do with liability and insurance and things like
Okay.
that, but certainly to a separate group, it's on their land. We could provide a grant instead of us going to mow the cemeteries.
Yeah.
And, it would save us a lot of,
Yeah.
I mean, I think those groups could do it for far more economically than we
Yeah.
could.
But this just sparked that conversation is that, maybe we should offer the cemetery group maybe half of what it costs us and they'd be more than happy to do it, or maybe not, I don't know, but it's a thought.
and I'll just add to, when it comes to the different cemeteries, as you mentioned, your cemetery is close, it's in a hamlet. I'm sure it has its own storage shed for this type of equipment and all of those type of things. We have a lot of cemeteries who are way out there, and that's a bit of a different ball of wax to try and expect that as well.
Is there a grant for massive locks on those little sheds?
Yeah,
You
right.
know what I'm saying?
Exactly that. So so you run into all those different logistics. Go ahead.
We've had many community places that mow and have those issues, and I mean, as of right now, as far as I see this that just adds to the list of level of service conversation.
Absolutely. I mean, this is where I'm thinking 6 level of services is we're gonna or hit that max pretty quick. All right, cemeteries, are we done?
No.
No, oh, Dowlick, I'm sorry, Counselor Dowlick.
Well, I totally agree that we should keep it, keep the level as now. We can discuss it later, but cemeteries are very, very important to some people and I'd hate to. I could see there's maybe the funding, the grants, maybe going every 3 years instead of 2, a little bit of a cut, but it's so little that we can discuss that later. That's not gonna affect, but I totally agree. We keep them the way they are.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? The next item we have is page 68. It's common services. I think there was some changes here made. I wish I could find the page that has it all written, but anyway, Director Daly, would you like to, or Director Ambley, I don't know if she's in the room. Is there anything here that you wanted to mention with regards, was ERP in this one? No. Common services? Sorry, wrong place. I'm thinking corporate. It's getting late in the day, can you tell? Yeah. Please go ahead. If there's.
No,
anything-
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, I was just gonna let you know that common services falls under mine.
Yes,
I know you were looking for one of the other.
right, I'm
sectors,
thinking
but
corporate.
It's
not-
mostly, not 100%, most of it's public works, and other services that we provide to other departments.
Okay. Anybody have anything they would like to bring to Councilor Dowlick?
Yeah, Oh, the consulting fees for the Public Works building, has that been spent? I believe it was 220,000.
Through the chair, we did not spend all of that money, because we've kind of put some things on hold for the immediate time. And so there will be a surplus from that line item. And for next year's proposed budget, it has been reduced.
Okay,
Or sorry, for 2026.
right? So again, it's mentioned in the report, the request for decision under corporate services that there was a reduction in the original draft of 130,000, including a removal of a vacant administrative assistant position, reducing and training office supplies, public relations, and computer upgrades and repairs. So that's what it says, corporate. Jeez, okay, it's time for me to take a break. Pardon me. We don't have it listed here. Okay, good enough. Common services, we didn't do a big chunk. Pardon me, guys. Does anybody have any, please go ahead, Councilor Hall.
So we've talked a lot over the last couple of years about always having some shovel-ready bridge projects kind of on the shelf and pre-engineered. This may be in here and I've not seen the line because they're, small and is that somewhere in the budget that you can point to us? And are we still, I think it's critical that we have some pre-engineering done on the next project so that when we have the province come up with a little bit of money or a program, we are ready to act and we can, when they announce the money, we can be ready.
Through the chair to Councillor Hall, yes, it's in our budget. It's not identified as a standalone item because it's all professional fees and engineering, and most of it's associated with capital projects. So it would fall into the professional fees there. But we don't necessarily have shovel-ready projects on anything other than bridges. So currently we have a bridge. We've indicated to our bridge engineers that we always want to have a shovel-ready project on the shelf ready to go. We have not made that step in other capital projects such as roads and so on at this point.
But for the bridge side, as long as, the assurance is we've got something ready to go and we're continuing to do that. And I think, so that everybody's of the same mind, some of that, my memory is that it means anything we spend in advance of a STIP approval is not eligible for STIP, but it also allows us to actually act on the STIP grant when we get it, instead of getting a grant, doing the engineering, doing the work the following year and having the costs increase so much that the grant doesn't cover the percentage we thought it would. So it's kind of a pre-planning to not eat the escalation. We can act on the grant when it comes.
So short answer through the chair is yes, we do have one bridge shovel ready.
In common services. I'll get that straight yet today. Okay, anybody else? Please go ahead.
Can I propose a coffee break?
Yes, you certainly can.
Once we're done,
Once we're done common service, I think, are we? Do you have anything else? Do you have anything for common services? Nope, everybody's happy? Then we will. Thank you. 10 minutes? Does that work? So we'll 2:55, we'll come on back. All right, folks, I think we're ready to reconvene our meeting. It is 3 p.m. We do have a few other items as well on our agenda that we should probably consider getting through, so we'll hammer through for another 20 minutes or so, I think would be fair, and then get through the rest of our agenda. We'll pick it up on the 16th and give administration some time to close up their shop as well. So I think we were done with common services, right? Perfect. We are moving to community transportation, which is page 73 of your agenda package, page 26 of the budget. Are there any comments, questions, concerns? We're ready to go?
So this is a valuable service, obviously, to lots of folks in the region. I'm just wondering if, we've really taken the time to challenge the committee to examine the business model and to look at how they can deliver this service more, how can the committee, is it possible to deliver it more effectively? Is it possible to expand the service in ways that generate revenue? Like, I would be curious when I look at this to see what's the utilization of the service in terms of the percentage time the vehicles are on the road versus the time they're sitting in the parking lot. Because I've been by a number of times here and there's, community transportation vehicle just parked out here. Are there opportunities? And I know some communities, I want to say Vermilion would be one through, they'd have to look, some charity they run where they also do some medical transport to both, recover costs, but it's done actually at a for-profit rate. I think we should be considering value add we can provide to the region that also puts some money back in so we can, make this service even better by considering these other opportunities. I've just gone totally blank on the name of that other service, but out of Vermilion they operated, and they have a contract with Alberta Health Services for non-critical medical transports. They'll run someone to the city for a scan or a scan or a whatever you would do at a city hospital. And yeah. And then there
Yeah. I hear exactly what you're saying, and I think that administration has really taken a real good look at how the service is offered at this time, and really looking into those efficiencies, as you mentioned, and trying to figure out what's the best way forward to provide this service in the most cost-efficient way. And I think that there's a lot of work that's going into that through administration, and Director Wilkinson can maybe speak to a little bit to that as well, because I think they're doing an excellent job in figuring all of that stuff out that makes sense for our community. Councillor Chamsley?
I thought 2 years ago-ish or so, we did expand the service to be able to go out to Laklabish and Edmonton as well for
We always
some
have.
of those medical transports as well.
that's for
It's-
ones where you order it though. There's
Pardon me, can you speak up?
that's for ones where you order the service versus where AHS wants to send someone. So, if it's transporting you from here to Edmonton or here to Laklabish for a procedure, but there's also moments where AHS will send someone from, the healthcare center here into the city, and they'll use an ambulance. The problem then comes, number one, an ambulance leaves our community, and we all know they don't come back as quickly as they leave. And while we've heard less about it lately, it wasn't many years ago where we're hearing regularly that, an ambulance would be needed in Boyle and it was being dispatched out of St. Paul. Now, I'm still of the view when I need an ambulance, it's not like a taxi where I might want it in a while. It's I need it like 5 minutes ago, and it coming from St. Paul is not good. So finding ways to, to keep those valuable critical services home at home or close to the base is important as well. So I think yes, we did expand it, but I think they're two different things.
Okay. Any
The thing is called focus.
focus?
And the guy's name that's connected, I think ends in Snow, or starts with Snow.
Okay.
Greg Snow.
Alrighty, thank you. Okay, is there anybody else? All right. We are going on to economic development on page 76 of your agenda package, page 29 of the budget. Is there any comments here? I think there was some changes mentioned earlier, but yeah, is there anybody? Be quiet. Go ahead.
No, I think some of the changes were using some of the old A-Red and TED budget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. Okay. Quiet. All right, next we move on to the emergency management and Highway 63 emergency services, page 78 of your package, page 31 of the agenda. Is there any conversation here? Please go ahead, Councillor Stacey.
Just very briefly, can you explain what that is, that service, Highway 63 services?
Yeah. So, years ago, long before I arrived, this was back in 2010, 2012, there were, before the highway was twinned, Highway 63, that was a very dangerous highway. And, there were a number of accidents along there that basically it was too much for local volunteer firemen to handle. And there was a real crisis in this county, I understand, where it was hard on firefighter personnel to respond to those. Eventually, the province stepped in with a grant to us and Lac La Biche County because a lot of the service area is to the north, which is Lac La Biche County. And we secured the services of a contractor to help us with rescue services, especially for highway wrecks. And then the highway was twinned, which helped, but sometimes the speeds actually went up. So to today, we still have a highway contractor. We get a grant from the province to help us pay for it, but it saves our local fire department, Wandering River and even Grassland, from responding to every call. They're there 24/7. So that's what that Highway 63 rescue is called.
So is it situated like halfway up to McMurray, like Wandering River-ish? No.
It's right in Wandering River,
Oh, I see.
but they will respond all the way. They'll respond wherever they're called, even certainly north of us into Lac La Biche County. And if they had to respond north of that into Wood Buffalo, they would.
So that's fire as well as ambulance, or just one or the other?
No, that's just rescue, highway rescue.
Oh, I see. Got it.
EMS is completely different, and that's not us.
Okay, thank you.
Do we know the certain kilometer that they are? I thought they stopped at a certain kilometer. Am I wrong?
Well, Lac La Biche only goes for certain kilometers, but if they're required to go, they just go. They're
Okay.
allowed to go into another jurisdiction
Oh,
if
absolutely.
they're asked. Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought there was a meeting point between Wood Buffalo
Well, it
and,
kind of is because they have a response. Wood Buffalo can respond quite a ways into
Right.
that area as well.
okay, awesome. Go ahead.
So for administration, I guess, just so that we're all clear, this is the service that is exclusively focused on Highway 63. We get 2/3 of the funding, but it costs Athabasca County over $200,000 a year to provide services on a provincial highway that primarily is serving a municipality that's not ours.
This budget is for emergency management and Highway 63 emergency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this would include,
This includes the emergency management, which was a new budget, as the old council knows. That was a new budget last year for this year, 2025. And I think it was in the range of 90,000.
okay, right.
We had it buried in fire before.
Right.
And we thought emergency services, emergency response, emergency management, it needs to be in its own category.
And so my concern is really around just how much are we subsidizing, this exact, the services on the highway.
For another municipality?
Well, but,
Yeah.
I mean, the economic activity is,
We'd have to look into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we do get the highway response fees from it as well, so there's a bit of that.
yes.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, we are going to move to enforcement services, page 81 of your package, page 34 of the agenda. Is there anybody who has anything they'd like to discuss here?
So, Madam Chair, this is one where we have reduced one peace officer to help us with our budget issue, so there's a reduction of level of service here.
Okay. Now, how does that, that will eventually impact then contracts that we have with other municipalities? Okay,
It'll impact all our levels of service.
okay. So that's summer villages as well? Yep. All of the municipalities, okay. Is there any? Well, you know, it's, for me, yeah, it's been a big jump in our budget to start with when we added the third one to include a vehicle as well. And I don't know if we have the stats to show how much that went towards other municipalities. You know, though contracting their services, it still ends up costing the county, in my opinion, quite a bit. But go ahead, Councillor Allen.
I think this is gonna make some people pretty happy in my area because I get, often I get complaints, you know, why do we need so many peace officers? So, you know, not that I agree with them, but
I thought it was
what do you say?
Division 6 who was asking for more.
Well, it depends who you talk to, right? Yeah, absolutely. All right, is there anybody else for this one? Okay, we are going to facilities, which is on page 84 of your package, 37 of the agenda. Another one that's, I think we're playing a little bit of catch up with. So is there anybody who has anything on this one? All right, it's just about going, gone. Okay, the next one is our beloved family and community support services, page 86, page 39 of your budget. I know that they work extremely hard over there for ensuring their budget falls within their needs, more so than their wants, from my understanding. So I think there was a few changes there, but I can't remember what they are. I have it. Does anybody else have anything to comment here? FCSS? Go ahead, please.
So I've had, you know, the feedback I've had on this has been that we offer sort of a Cadillac service on FCSS. It's one of the, it's an example of a really well done program. And so that's something I think we should be proud of. And again, my understanding is that we more or less over contribute, like the county over contributes in order to provide this full basket of service. Do we get that same kind of extra support from all the other local governments that pay in, or do these amounts kind of represent the minimum of what they're doing? And I noticed that Island Lake is not in there, but because I again gather they do their own program. Does that also mean we discriminate against their residents and don't let them in? Because it's a community that from an assessment basis is as big as the Village of Hoyle.
Madam Chair, if you're looking at just in a terms of ratios, no, the county over contributes compared to some of our neighbors in the additional category, but it's been a point of pride, I guess, for us to be doing that. It is a premium operated service in Alberta. And it makes our community a pretty darn good place.
That's why I want to start off with saying it's, you know, well respected and valuable. And
Okay. Anybody else? It's just about 3:15. We'll move into the fire protection services. Dun, 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 dun. On page 90 of your agenda package, page 43 of the budget, then page 44. Do we don't have Chief Shalpai here, do we, to ask a few questions? Sorry? Okay, well then may I ask, on page 100 of the agenda package, there was the budget change request form put in, and I was just looking for clarification because I didn't really understand it very well. It was 240,000 towards the purchase of either a wildfire sprinkler protection trailer or towards the purchase of a used apparatus to free up a structurally rated tactical tender 95, to be relocated. I didn't understand what that meant at all. I of course understood the wildfire sprinkler protection trailer, which I would put personally my priority too, but I didn't understand what it meant by the used apparatus to free up the structurally rated tactical tender 95. And I think tender, if I'm not mistaken, the 9 is not our municipality, not our district. Please go ahead.
Revolving, the only item that's in the budget is the committed 945, remaining balance of that 90%. It's in there as a capital item. The 240, I think we removed from the budget, although it's in the business case, but after initial, when actually it was removed even before the first budget came. Fire Chief Shapley, we talked about this before we even brought the first budget, and they said, yeah, really, the main one that I need would be the first one, 945, because we already did a contract and committed that,
Okay.
and that's in capital. Thank you.
Okay, so we're not looking then at a wildfire spray. We can't ask for that. Oh, okay. Sad. Although, I'll just put it out there as well. I don't know if council has a appetite to ask for a little bit more, if we can ask administration to dive in a little further. A wildfire sprinkler protection trailer, just in my personal opinion, is extremely important in preventative. And I think, as we all know, when you have those types of pieces of equipment in saving homes and infrastructure, et cetera, I know it was utilized well in the fire to save a lot in the village and our county homes where the fires went around rather than through. So I'm not sure if council has an appetite to ask administration if there's a way to look a little further, if this is something that we can consider. Preventative usually saves us money in the long run. And that's not only here in our county, but it's province-wide, and insurance premiums.
Yeah, we could look into that.
I appreciate that. Is that something council's agreeable to? Awesome, thank you. Please go ahead.
On a basis of trade-offs or?
If we can find if we can find some savings somewhere else, I'm not sure what it'd be, what administration could come forward
Yeah,
with, but I
we'll
just,
take it away and,
yeah,
yeah, we'll see what we can do.
appreciate that. Go ahead, please, Council Chamzik, and then Council.
The only other thing that I really noticed going through the budget, of course, I always have some concerns about, as we all know, cell phone service is an issue throughout the county, and I see some landlines being removed from some halls. And I'm just wondering if that would be, sorry, on page 92, if that is a necessary adjustment.
So we felt that because all the fire halls have Wi-Fi, they have access to Wi-Fi calling. Yes, some of the halls don't have great cell service, but there is the ability for Wi-Fi calling. And it was a place that we felt we could cut some budget.
Okay, answered your question? Councilor
And I
Paul?
guess if I could add to that, they all have radios as well, and they rely heavily on the radios.
Okay. Yeah. I'll just mention self-service is something we should also consider coming up with as a conversation for strat planning. Does anybody else have anything with regards to fire services? I think we all know how incredibly important it is and how we're seeing events happen closer and closer together and more frequently. That once again, go ahead, please.
Yes, under line 2250 contracted services, we're going from 1.7 to $128,000.
Which page? I'm sorry.
That would be on page 90,
Page 90, okay?
2250.
Contracted services, yeah.
So then
So-
you jump to where it's actually there on page 92. At the bottom. On page 93 at the top, there's, does this have the potential to jump back up? Like if we get another wildland fire, does that cost in there have the potential to jump up?
Yes, Madam Chair, yeah, I mean, if we don't budget for it,
Yeah.
but absolutely, when we bring the reserve policy ahead, you'll see there's a dedicated reserve for emergencies in the future, but you're right. Every time there's an emergency, it's gonna end up in that category and it affects the budget later.
Okay,
And so, with I can't remember, they just changed the name of the grant program that we can access. But the province has brought in grant programs to offset wildland fires for us, which is fantastic. It's good move by the province, and that's where it would end up.
okay, oh, sounds good.
Oh, just hang on.
Yeah, and 2510, again, supplies. So we cut way down on the supplies, that we needed.
2510?
Yeah,
Page 90.
was it, 463 and went down to 199? Oh. Page 90.
And then page 95. Yeah. Sorry?
Page 95, 96, yeah, we cut way down on supplies, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Madam
think
Chair,
they-
some of that was the one was a settlement we received for the Casland Fire Department. So that was a big number. That was a one-time thing in 25. And then we've got some other one-time things. Yeah, and including Highway 831 fire again. So
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch of one-time things that just happened in 25. That's not to say some of those things couldn't happen again,
happen.
and that's where they would end up.
Okay, no, thank you very much.
Counselor Paul?
At the beginning of the budget section, it talks about community protective services having a reduction in the overall draft. And then one of the items it includes is the pay-per-call fire staff. And so I just am looking for admin to talk us through how we reduce the paid on call, because I think, council felt that was pretty important, and what's happening there.
Yeah, through the chair, for sure. So when we first proposed it, it was basically a guess based on a lot of research that we did with our neighbors and such. But since that time, we implemented it in August, I think, and we've had a number of pay periods. And so what we've done is averaged per pay period and budgeted based on actuals since August.
So it's just a good refinement to the number instead of, we're not taking away anything from. our
That's
fires.
correct. No, we're not taking anything away. We're just taking the data that we've collected since we implemented it and tried to budget using those numbers.
Yeah, in fact, we're really happy with the uptake from the fire personnel there. They've really taken to the program.
That's awesome. That's good news. All right, I think folks, in the name of time for today, if we can stop now, we'll pick up at GIS Services on Tuesday for our next meeting, if that's fair. If council's okay with that. We will table the rest of the budget until the 16th, which then will move us
Would
to,
you like to make a motion to do that?
sorry, would you like to make a motion to table?
Well, that's what you said, so I'm just wondering if you're, like, are you making a motion to table the rest?
Sure. I'm sorry, until the 16th, yep. If that's okay with everybody, we're ready for the vote on tabling to the rest of the budget to the 16th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, and I don't think there's any opposed. Awesome. Okay, so I just gotta get reorganized here. Bear with me. That's that. Here we go. All right, so we are on community event calendars, which is on, thanks, Council Transit 150 to page 151. Was that something you would like
Yep,
to?
I
bring forward?
have just 2 additions for January. On the 13th, Atmore general meeting, and the 26th of January, Grassland general meeting for their Egg Society and Community League, sorry.
Okay,
On the 13th is Atmore Community League's general meeting of this January.
you
And
have
then
a
on the
time?
26th of January is Grassland Egg Society's general meeting.
do you have times for those?
7 o'clock for Grassland and 7 for Atmore.
That's not the end. No.
That's already done. That's just the general meeting or monthly meetings.
Awesome. Anybody else? Alrighty, I think then if we can get a motion from Counselor Chamzik to receive the community event calendars as discussed, all those in favor?
Aye.
There we go. Are there any opposed? Nope. 9-0. We will move to our meeting calendars on page 152. Yes, please.
Just a reminder, on the 17th of December, ASB is canceled. And for January, Pemina on the 12th, ASB on the 13th. And then I would like to discuss the 20th and 22nd of possibly, especially if the appetite there is to, if we can move the county council, seeing that we'll probably, as far as I know, have 4 members gone due to the ASB conference, to either the 27th or the 29th.
I like it. The only concern I have is would it impact any files for MPC?
That is a good question.
But I mean, I know she's gone. If we moved it, yeah,
Boy,
just hang on. There's conversation happening. It'll be okay. And if not, I'm sure that Director Wilkinson, yeah, okay. So we'll move the,
ASB's on 13th.
okay, and we're gonna move, well, I'm not really sure. Is Pembina Zone something that we have
It's-
to?
It's on Zoom, I think.
It is, we received an
Yeah.
email earlier that it will be on Zoom.
On Zoom,
Sorry, I
okay.
should make that
It'll just
clear.
be, basically an org meeting because we don't have a chair or vice chair, so we need to elect a chair and vice chair and.
Okay, so it'll be an org meeting and then somebody else will book it
And then
after.
we'll pass the files to the
Fantastic.
next county.
Okay, so that's Zoom. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And the move of the MPC and the county council meeting on the 22nd will go to the 29th. Same times. And just a quick reminder, tomorrow is morning at bright and early 7 a.m. for the Mayor and Reeves breakfast, and that's at Johnny's tomorrow morning. I don't know if tickets are still available for that, but if you would like to attend, it will cost you $30 to go.
Sorry, I wasn't sure. Did we figure out anything for the 20th? Are we,
Oh, the committee of the
is
whole?
there an appetite to continue with that meeting? Or I don't know
Can
how
you-
heavy their administrative, am I loud enough for you, Councilor?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I actually couldn't hear what Reeve Hall said. I understood that Cal was moved to the 27th and council to the 29th, so I heard wrong.
Right, we just so far moved MPC and the county council to the 29th.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. And then we're talking about the committee of the whole now, whether to cancel it or move it. And I think with some of the topics that we talked about,
Is there a reason it, like how many people are away and is there a reason it can't just,
4.
and everybody's going, of course, to
so we can either, yeah, and I'm fine with moving it to the 27th if everybody else, if that works for everybody.
I
The
can make.
committee of the whole on January 20th to January 27th. Yeah, works for everybody? Okay, awesome. Okay, so I
And
think
just-
we've pretty
And
much,
just for tomorrow, December 12th, we have
pardon me?
we have a meeting tomorrow, for the, rural conference.
No, women's. What is it now? Athabasca
County.
Rural Women's Conference? We'll
Yes.
call it
They
that.
changed their name, so that's, tomorrow at
What
10?
time? 10 a.m.?
10 a.m.
10 a.m.?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Please.
I just have a question for Counselor Chamsik. Are we still having a Zoom meeting with the library board on the 15th? I had that tentatively in my calendar.
Oh, on the 15th? No, it was moved to, hold on here, it's, oh, yes, on the 15th. I never got that one. Yes, we
Okay.
are. We can set up Zoom for you if you'd like, but it is going to be in this office. at
Oh,
6
okay.
p.m.
Okay.
Is that January 15?
Yeah, no, December, like Monday.
Monday,
Yeah,
December.
Sorry
that's
about
what
that.
I'm
I missed that one. I know it, but I forgot to put it. Thank you.
And sorry, what was the meeting?
Athabasca County Library Board.
At the county. Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Go Counselor Hall.
Multiplex, arms meeting is on the 15th of December.
15th of December is arms, okay?
And then, I'm wondering if, Ms. Blair has received the updated calendar from the multiplex manager to share the next year's worth of meetings. So probably not. So we'll just arrange to get that sent. Greater North has, decided their meetings too, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. So we'll make sure that comes in. And then Water Commission has, approved in yesterday's meeting a couple of changes to February and November, I think.
February and.
No, it was November. It was November from the 11th to 3rd, because apparently we can't meet when one of the staff is on holidays.
Yeah, they moved to, yeah, November.
In November 3rd, yep, and February something.
Are you able to send those dates? Are you able to send those dates to?
No, I think the administration of those organizations can do that.
The own. The
Like,
commission
my
is doing it?
expectation is the commission should send that. But
Okay, commission will be sending that. Okay,
we'll make sure that it happens.
awesome.
Make sure.
Okay, and just one other quick thing, I've been hanging on to this letter from Portage College. The Board of Governors would like to take an opportunity to extend an invitation to council to meet with their board and administration. There's several dates that they have offered, starting January 15, March 19, April 16, May 14, or June 18th. What they've mentioned here is that we can either join virtually or face-to-face at the Lac La Biche campus. They will include lunch at 1 p.m. And this is, they do have a new president there, I think is what they've called the new president, yes? Yes. And so if council is interested, I know March has become extremely busy. January is also busy for us, but more travel, if you choose, you would like to travel in either April or May, I think might be a good opportunity for us to go and have a visit if everyone is interested. But we do need to get back to these people. I've been hanging on to this for very long. So there's April 16th is the one, it's a Thursday, and I'm just gonna double check to see which council meeting we have in April. And April 16th is free for no council meeting, but May 14 is not. So if April 16th would be a date that we can get back to Portage College with, that would be great. And then what available counselors who would like to attend can attend. Does that sound fair? Okay, perfect. Awesome. And other than that, do we have a motion? Yes, please.
We've got dates from Lac La Biche County Council that would like to meet with this county council in February, either the 9th or the 18th.
9th or the 18th.
Sorry, what days?
February 9th
9th or 18th.
or the 18th. The 18th works
Sure,
better.
Counselor
That-
Dahalik, you'll make either one of those work, won't you? Yeah. Yeah.
Does February 9th work well for everybody?
That is,
It's a Monday.
It's a
we
Monday.
have a meeting. Oh,
Sorry, I
water
can't. But we told you. For which?
no, waste.
Regional waste
Waste.
is on that day,
Ugh.
the 18th,
18th looks open.
February 18th, everybody, right after Family Day. weekend.
It's a Wednesday.
That
Yep.
is, I have.
Let's make the 18th out there. Let's blow it out there. It seems to be. I don't see a
Yeah.
whole lot of,
Okay.
there we go, February 18th it is.
And then we'll
Is that in
get-
Lacklavich?
we'll get more details
Okay.
after.
Okay,
Here, there.
And we'll find out what we're trying to achieve and, yeah, it won't be, I think it would be like a 10 o'clock till 2 o'clock type of thing, so.
okay. Awesome. All right, so that's in there. Anybody else? I think we got it all covered. Do we have a motion to receive the Deputy Reeve Mins would like to put the motion forward to receive the calendars as discussed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? No, perfect. All right. We are done. Section 10, 11. I put on there, I just wanted to quickly mention, a thank you very much to all of those who are submitting their reports for the committees and boards. These reports are really valuable and we took just to discuss that, how this information is keeping everybody in the loop on what's going on with all of the committees and, just a friendly reminder as well, that council that reports are a responsibility of the committee reps to submit for the agendas, minutes, et cetera, will not be searched out by administration. So those minutes that you have, please bring them forward, to add to the agenda. And I think there's one other quick reminder I wanted to mention for reporting, for conferences and conventions and whatnot. Except for RMA, doesn't include RMA, but any other ones that you attend, you have to have a written report within 45 days, or you may lose the opportunity to going to another conference. So just wanted to give everybody a quick reminder. 11.1, sorry?
Can we have a discussion about, I know, you would prefer minutes in the agenda, but if we have a discussion about what council wants, do we want the minutes of every other committee in our agenda package, or are we happy with 3-paragraph report or 2 paragraphs of the highlights?
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to intend to say minutes have to go. I just meant that if you are submitting minutes, it's up to you to supply them. Administration's not going to provide them. Sorry, sorry, any confusion there. I may
Okay,
cause.
sorry, no, I appreciate that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just have a question regarding, the little blurb after our conference, whatever, right? So, Councillor Stasiak and I went to one together and we were like, just gonna take turns with the FCSS hats, whatever we wear. Is that sufficient? Because I know he wrote up something about the conference, but I have to do one as well.
Or you can combine them.
Oh, okay.
So quite often then when we have in the past, if more than one has gone, we combined them. We work together on them and put it together. Does that work?
Yeah, actually, I was prepared today, the verbal presentation as opposed to written. I understand. I'll review that and do it.
Perfect. And then it can just be submitted for the next agenda. Yeah, there's plenty of time. Perfect. Collaboration, gotta love it. Okay, is there anything else on reports, folks? Okay, so we have, real quick here, I wrote down 11.1 F. I believe the minutes were already shared. This is for the Athabasca County and Town of Athabasca Intermunicipal Committee. I believe the email went out. CAO Beck shared those particular minutes, so if you have any questions on those, please don't hesitate to reach out. I just wanted to mention real quick, because these are a little late to be putting in the agenda, this is 11.1H, pardon me. Athabasca Land Trail Steering Committee met. We were kind of in and out on Friday so we missed some of the more important portion of that meeting. I have asked Counselor Edwards with the town, who did some AI notes from that, to share those notes so that I'll be able to give you guys a better report. And I don't know how many notes that Counselor Cowell, who also took, but it was a very informative meeting. So I'll bring that next time, and rather than trying to piece it together today. And then same with 11.1Q, the community transportation. I'll share those minutes and a small report from there. That meeting was on December 4th. And so rather than inundate you with all that information, it'll come next meeting. And then I'll turn it over to Councillor
Well,
Chambliss.
I'm gonna be oddball out because my minutes are like probably 25 minutes long, so I am doing a quick verbal.
Okay.
Barb Smith for Northern Lights Library Service Systems has been voted in for the general. We've been working hard on efficiencies for budget, forming partnerships with Yellowhead Peace, ELTA, Library Association to form stronger conference at a tax savings. We also did a review of our IT and we were able to find over a $30,000 savings for FortiGate firewall and warranty concerns ready to roll out in 2026. Kikino is also almost ready to establish a library board. This will be the 5th joining our OSOR settlements. And also, other than that, just keeping it short. We're also trialing a new book warranty program for soft covers, helps with supplies and materiality. And also ordering books through NLLS also offers efficiencies for libraries at greater discount. I'll leave it at that.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Does anybody else? I think we have exhausted this part of the agenda. We had one item left for enclosed that I think due to the time and I think I love the coined decision fatigue has set in. I know it has for me, that maybe we leave that particular item. It's something that we'll see on all of our agendas going forward. So there's nothing really to table. It'll just be there next time. Are we good? Everybody good? Councillor Hall, you look perplexed.
If we're adding it, I think we should be dealing with it. I'm fine with a motion to delete it from the agenda, but I don't think I don't know. I mean, it's just more typing for Leah, but I don't like the idea of just leaving it ignored, forgotten, but I'd be fine to suggest
Table
we
it.
delete that item.
Or table it till the next
Whatever.
closed session?
Yep.
Okay,
Whatever
so
you
that
prefer.
would have been, I don't even know what item, 5.8. So if we can please table 5.8 until, all those in favor? I think we lost Councillor Tanya. I see no opposed, 8 no. I would officially like to adjourn this meeting and at 3:41.